If anyone ever really does go through these belts, it will become apparent just how lethal they really are to humans. Other than the alleged Apollo trips, all other manned spacecraft have stayed below the belts. These belts do not officially begin until an altitude of 1,000 miles is reached. But when one space shuttle crew was brave enough to go nearly 400 miles above the Earth, they started to experience some unusual effects. They reported seeing shooting stars, which were a result of the radiation hitting the retinas of their eyes.
And if I'd have landed 20 feet behind where I landed, we'd have landed right smack in that crater.
When interviewed, Alan Bean of Apollo 12 initially stated that he had not gone through the belts and did not observe any effects caused by them.
Any ill effects from the Van Allen radiation belts?
No. Now, I'm not sure we went far enough out to encounter the Van Allen radiation belt. Maybe we did.
When it was pointed out that the flight pattern took him through the belts, he changed his story.
The belts are 1,000 miles to 25,000 miles above the Earth.
Then we went right out through them.
No effects on yourselves?
We didn't even know it. I don't think anybody, well, maybe somebody said you went through the radiation belt, but we didn't feel it inside, and we didn't get any, added radiation.
The space shuttle went to 365 miles a few years ago. Because I worked in news. I saw CNN. They said that the radiation belts surrounding Earth are more dangerous than previously believed because the astronauts saw shooting stars with their eyes closed when they got within 600.
Radiation belt. We saw shooting stars, but they're not shooting stars with your eyes closed, although they look like it. If you're out in space beyond the Van Allen belt, and probably within the Van Allen belt, and close your eyes and just pay attention. You don't notice it unless you pay attention. Then all of a sudden you'll see a little flash like a shooting star, except it's like that. There goes one this way. Then one just blossoms. And then not that fast. Maybe you wait 3 minutes or 2 minutes and one goes whoosh. And what's happening is cosmic rays are hitting the back of your eye and exciting those sensors in the back of your eye. So that's what you see. And they got high enough apparently to close it. My guess is in Earth orbit, if you closed your eyes and just paid attention, that you would see them.
The first time they were seen was when they went to 365 miles.
Yes.
That's 650 miles below or away from the radiation.
Yeah, see, it's below. My guess if they just did it tonight. But see, if you're just going to sleep or closing your eyes or it's dark, you don't notice them. But if you'll close your eyes and pay attention, which we had an experiment to do, by the way, then you see them whistling by. Not on our mission, by the way, they hadn't been discovered yet. I saw them one day on the moon. It wasn't dark, and it was kind of dark, and I saw this flash of light, and it looked like it was on the moon, but really it wasn't. It was a flash of light in my eye.
The leading astronaut of the day, Gus Grissom, was slated to be the first man to walk on the moon. He was an outspoken man with the highest level of integrity. There was no way he would lie for anyone. He was also an outspoken critic of the dilapidated state of the moon program. Just before he died, he hung a lemon on the capsule and held a press conference in which he pointed out the sad state of the program. On the morning he died, upon having difficulty communicating from the capsule, he angrily asked,
Hey, how are we going to get the moon? We can't talk between three buildings.
In 1967, during a plugs-out test in which no engines were even ignited, they had him in a sealed capsule and pressurized it with 100% pure oxygen. A fire erupted, and all 3 astronauts perished. After this grisly incident, no other astronaut dared to criticize the program, and after all these years of lying and making their livings off the fame, none chooses to wreck this acclaimed success for the others by telling the truth.
The problem is we don't have the technology to do that anymore. We used to, but we destroyed that technology, and it's a painful process to build it back again.
It was all recorded on these telemetry tapes. So where is this hard evidence? I haven't seen anything that indicates the telemetry data is even in existence, and as I said, even if we had it, we don't have the machines to play it back.
But your own research has shown the telemetry data is missing.
That's right.
Could this be true? Mankind's first interplanetary exploration and the original science data is missing?
11, this is Houston, radio check, over.
If it's anywhere, it should be here at NASA's Goddard Space Center in Maryland, home to the National Space Science Data Archives.
This film you're making now, what is it? Does it have a name? I mean, do you have a name for it yet, or are you?
I'm calling it Did We Go?
Did we go? Okay.
Doesn't have it either. The Smithsonian doesn't have it. Johnson doesn't have it.
Right. We've been unable to track it down. I mean, we don't know where this telemetry data ended up, and we don't know what path it may have taken. So, unfortunately, I'm afraid I can't really give you much of a clue as to where this data ended up and whether it still exists or not.
NASA admitted that it had lost the original footage of man's first steps on the moon.
NASA has lost all the original Apollo moon landing footage and telemetry data. So to try and verify the original footage or the data that's in the modules that supposedly went to and from the moon, you can't check those now. So there's no physical confirmable evidence that they were anywhere but a sound studio.
Now look at this. Does that look like a refrigeration unit or an air conditioning unit? And is that supposed to be a rocket there? I mean, seriously, ladies and gentlemen, but take a closer look at those panels, ladies and gentlemen. Those panels went to the moon. Are you kidding me? I've seen 18-wheelers driving down the highway with nicer cabs in the back to sleep in. I mean, seriously, this went to the moon? Are you kidding me? Look at that. Look at the craftsmanship, the fine workmanship on the metalwork there. It looks like a 5-year-old made it. I'm serious. And it looks like he used cardboard or something, and then they took it down to the manufacturer and made tin out of it or something. I don't know. This is definitely the fakest looking spaceship I've ever seen in my life. And what's with all the aluminum foil around the edges of this thing? That looks totally fake, totally phony, with all the curtain rods and everything there. And then when you zone in on the rocket propulsion, let's take a look at the rockets, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, wow. There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look at those 4 rockets that they have here right on the corner there. Those things look like little cups or something. I mean, I've seen, you go to 7-Eleven and you get one of their big gulps there, 32-ounce big gulps. It looks like they're going to be bigger cups than these cones that are on these rockets here. Are you kidding me? No way did that lift off this spacecraft off the moon. And by the way, how does a rocket engine work in a vacuum of space, by the way? Yeah, rockets don't work in a vacuum, folks. And look at that shielding for the rocket, the bottom rocket engine there. You see that black looking thing? It looks like it's made out of canvas. Is that some kind of shield made out of canvas? And that's supposed to shield the rocket engines from burning up the spaceship? I mean, are you serious? Now, when you look at the big picture of the whole lunar spacecraft, if you can call this a spacecraft. If you look at this, the panels there that I showed you look like crap up there on the right. Then up on the top, those beige looking panels at the very top, they look like crap. Looks like an air conditioning unit. And then you come down to the left side here, then all of a sudden you start seeing these perfect shapes here almost, where they're cutting out like tetrahedrons or something like that, and it looks like someone fabricated that who knew a little bit more about fabrication than the first guys did. But basically, they want you to believe that this went to the moon and then lifted off the moon to come back to Earth. Now, I don't know about you, but I'm not buying it. I believe this is the biggest hoax of all time. And you heard Buzz. They didn't go to the moon, and they sure as heck didn't go to the moon in this pile of crap.